Traditional media, social media, online. Where do you get your information when it comes to farming and agriculture? Frankly, is there too much information that it's almost overwhelming? That's what we're talking about in this episode of The Granary.
You ready for a conversation with some real farmers about real issues? And the best part, you're invited. So pour yourself a drink, grab a snack, most importantly, pull up a chair. Welcome to The Granary. Hey, guys.
All right, guys, as a topic, I'm joined by my friend Chad Henderson and Kelly Garrett with XtremeAg. We're also joined by Chase Garner with SprayTec. SprayTec, one of our business partners, sponsoring this episode. We thank you very much for that. You know what? I'm glad you're here.
Glad to be here.
Well, appreciate you being here. All right, so we're talking information. We're talking about all this. I got this phone in my hand. In the old days, Grandpa would come in, sit down, watch the evening news. You didn't really get any agricultural coverage at all. You had to get traditional print media to cover agriculture, and you could check it at lunchtime on the noon AM radio that gave the markets, and usually there was like a 3-minute news about what's going on, from the grain embargo to shipments to, whatever. Yeah. Endless streams of information on here. Some of it's good, some of it's bad, some of it's overwhelming. We are now ag media at XtremeAg. Is there too much of it? Is it overwhelming?
I'm sitting at the wrong table. I need to get up, and I'm in the wrong room, wrong table.
Where do you get your ag information, Kelly?
Successful Farming.
Yeah, I do look at the Successful Farming magazine still, but
it's online.
Agriculture.com. I wouldn't even know what to guess how many Facebook groups I'm part of, and Beck's Twitter.
But it's all nothing new to you because it's all you've ever known. Have you ever picked up a newspaper?
A few of them. He lit a fire with one. Hey, that did make good.
Ag magazines.
Yeah.
There's still a bunch of those out there.
Yep.
There's at least, I would say, every other week, Dad puts an ag magazine in my truck. He said, "Hey, you need to look at this article right here. You need to read this article right here." I mean, there's 4 or 5 in the back seat of my truck right now. He says, "Hey, you need to read this article. You need to look at this." And maybe he's saying, like, you need more help. Like, you obviously need some help. What you got going on?
Well, I don't know about that. I mean, he's probably right. But I guess I look at it's almost too much. But I, for my job, have to stay up with a lot of stuff. So I like the fact that there's 100 sources that I pull from, because that way I'm not just always looking at one single source. It makes you wonder, in the old days, were we better off because we weren't overwhelmed, or were we worse off because you got whatever Walter Cronkite said, or whatever maybe that one farm magazine you took said?
I think that when we were kids and you had like 3 channels and you had Walter Cronkite, I think that traditional media there was more unbiased. So I appreciate that, and I kind of miss that. But now today, again, like using the Facebook groups and things like that, you have to kind of sort through the bull. Yeah. But talking farmer to farmer on a Facebook group, somebody poses a question, and then you can read all the comments and things like that. And some of them are sarcastic and things, but a lot of those guys are really answering in a true fashion. And it's really sitting around the table like we are now, but you're all sitting there on your phone all across the country. I think there's great value in that. So is there too much? There's a lot, but you just don't pay attention if you don't want to. You know what I mean? You don't have to turn it on, but boy, there's great sources of information there, and you can talk to another farmer.
Farmers are on their phones a lot. And I'm not just talking about you guys. You guys are on your phones a lot. But all the farmers, you go to these events, I go to conferences all over North America, and they're on their phones a lot. I'd say they're dialed in, tuned into some type of social media and some sort of online communication on a more basis than most any other industry.
I mean, look at when we started. I mean, I would say that I'm probably out of the group of us, I'm probably the slowest adapter to it. I mean, I did my first post like a month ago. You know what I'm saying? I would say I'm slow. I can remember when we started this thing, as a group, and y'all asked me, like, "Hey, I was like, man, I ain't gonna watch no dang video of somebody out here in the field messing up." But I'll do it. I think me and Will had like 11 or 12 takes, on the first one. But I mean, as we've progressed, and I was the last one that, Will was on me like, "Hey, you got to get on Facebook. Like, you got to get on Facebook." But as I've done it, I mean, there's so much information there. And like you said, I mean, it's almost, it's eye-opening to see how farmers are back, because 10 or 15 years ago, the farmers didn't communicate, I don't think, 20 years ago like we do now. And farmers all across the country are communicating for the betterment of farming and farmers.
Yes. Yeah.
So, it's relieving to me to know that, hey, you know what? We're pulling back together, farmers are, as a team. You know, and I say that, I know it's kind of corny or whatever, but it is, you know, to think that we're a better team now than we was.
It's a bigger community.
A bigger community.
I think calling that device right there a phone is really selling that device short. And you hear so many people say, well, they're just on their phone all the time. They're just on their phone all the time. How do you know I'm not reading a book? How do you know I'm not sending an email? How do you know I'm not looking at the markets? All of those things. That device is a great tool. And I know that some people are on it and they're scanning social media, just goofing off.
Watching reels.
Yeah. I do that myself. But how do you know I'm not on that phone? I hate to use the term, but working, and which is checking the market, sending an email, things like that. That device puts the world at your fingertips, and it is a great tool. And no, I don't think there's too much, because I can communicate with a farmer I don't know in Alabama. I can communicate with a farmer in Kentucky just because of a question in a Facebook group. It makes the coffee table bigger. It's wonderful.
Well, me personally, I can put a post up about product on social media, on a social media platform, and reach 30 to 40,000 people versus me driving around in my pickup all day, cold calling or talking to
seeing
guys.
10 or 12.
Yeah, seeing 10 or 12, I can reach 30 to 40,000 people with one post. That's a great benefit for me.
I think a guy like you should be in those Facebook groups, and somebody says, here's a problem I'm having with my foliar fertility, with my adjuvant. You need to answer the question. Look at all of the potential customers that you have right there.
Absolutely.
What a great tool.
Absolutely.
It also can be too much. I mean, it's because if you say, I want to research this, I like to keep up, obviously, with the ag industry. I go and speak at ag events. If I just go on this and type in something, there's a thousand opportunities.
Yeah, but you can overeat too.
Yeah.
So,
Well, you can go in your search.
You don't have to read everything.
You can go in your search bar, type in agriculture, hashtag farming. There's a million posts that pop up.
Sure.
You got to decipher through, what you're looking for.
Right.
Or if you're looking for a certain product or a certain way they're doing things, you hashtag it. Then you have to decipher through all the posts that has that hashtag in it.
Some of them are ridiculous.
Yeah. That may be where you get the confusion there.
Some of them are completely ridiculous. Some of them are completely useless.
Yeah, somebody just standing with a phone, just
all right.
Hey, look, I'm outstanding in my field.
That's some videos.
Yes, but it's still a great tool. I don't think there's too much, and I think there's more to come. I do think you need to look for people that are authentic and genuine, though. Not everybody's out there with your best interests at heart.
Well, obviously, we created this. You guys created XtremeAg and then brought me in and look at the stuff that we do. Will does whatever, and we say we're providing information or entertainment or what have you, and we're one of the platforms now that it's almost democratized the entire thing. In the days of 3 channels, there was 3 channels, a dozen publications, and the radio, and this has made it so that we have a voice. We wouldn't have had. We would have had to buy a TV show. 20 years ago, and now we don't have to. So that's the good part. And the thing is, I think there's a lot of crap out there.
The bad part is the integrity has gone down from Walter Cronkite.
Maybe. Remember, that was bought media also back then.
You know what? How about this? We thought the integrity was.
Yeah, we did. And
we believed it was.
And this is obviously older than.
But it's the only thing we could believe. Like, we believed in something.
Yes.
Yeah. I mean, it's older than Chase. When we talk about 3 channels, it sounds like old guys talking about walking uphill both ways in a blizzard, right? And you
barefooted.
And you saw the weather out here this morning.
He's from Arkansas. He doesn't know what a blizzard is.
Yeah, well, stick around.
We've had one. I think we've had one in my lifetime.
Yeah, we do about 3 a year. So anyway, welcome to Indiana. We appreciate that. You don't know or have the historical reference of the 3 channels and all that. It's nothing new. But there is that thing that you hear people even older than us say, well, back in the old days, Walter Cronkite. I'm like, well, that was still paid media also. I mean, it really was.
It was.
If you were a big company, you made sure that the covers that you got was the kind you paid for.
I bet it was like $500 too. Like, you could just bang,
That wouldn't take much.
100% back then, it wasn't as authentic and genuine as I would like to believe.
I mean, he's really raining on your parade.
Yeah,
I mean,
but he's right.
He's raining on your parade.
Well, remember, all you got to do with anybody that's a baby boomer and older is talk about the 1950s. And to hear them tell, everything was a magical moment. I'm like, not really. Not really. There was domestic violence. There was racism. There was crime. There was, let's not pretend the 1950s that everybody was a black and white, episode of Leave It to Beaver. It wasn't really that way. Anyway, where do you get your information? You're 28?
32.
You're 32?
32.
Well, you're young for your age. Anyway. All right. Where do you get your information?
The internet.
What specifically? Tell me where you go.
Google, and just type in what I'm looking for. And then from that, from Google, there'll be 100 different.
Sure, there will be.
And you just have to go through there and decipher the BS from the legit information.
You came back to agriculture. You need agricultural information so you can be a source for your company, for your job, for whatever you do. There's probably a bunch of stuff that comes up and you're like, I don't know what the hell that guy was talking about. I'm going to go over here and look it up.
Yeah.
So you'd use it that way.
I use it that way.
Tell me something you've looked up in the last 2 days.
Ooh, that's a tough one.
I'll come back to you. Think about what you looked up, and I want you to give me the exact example and what you found and how you went about finding it. Something you looked up in the last 2 to 3 days.
We're looking at an airplane. And I look at different airplane specifications. I used to go to Google all the time, but then you have to sort through all that. Now I go to AI. I used to go to Chat GPT.
Yep.
Now I go to Grok on X.
Yeah. So I've not done Grok yet. I too have started evolving into the AI thing because Google's paid for it. And then you start wondering, well, what am I getting? Am I getting what I really want? Or am I getting what someone is paying for me to get?
Yes, and I feel like I can ask a more specific question and get a more specific answer from AI.
Yes.
Then you can't just Googling it and then sorting. So it saves time.
It becomes, it gets you to the A to B a little quicker. You feel like you're a little bit outdated, though.
Oh, I ain't looked nothing up. I'm sitting here thinking about I
That's
ain't
because
Googled
you know
nothing.
more.
I hadn't Googled anything. All we've been trying to figure out is we're going to run the planters, and what the blend's going to be. And so I'm not Googling any of that because if I do, I'll be way over here in left field somewhere. If I Google, oh, that's a great idea. Went down this rabbit hole.
Well, you don't come up with everything just off the whim. So where does your stuff come from? Your dad's giving you a magazine?
A lot of my stuff comes off a whim. I lean on people around us. I lean on XtremeAg. I lean on a couple of
conversations.
A lot of it's conversation.
I've observed it. Yeah.
It's still agronomists. We got a couple agronomists. We got a couple, good friends, and we bounce stuff off each other. Mine is still a lot of conversations, I think. And I don't really know, because if you looked at, let's say, my thinking still right now is if we're dealing with most things, it's going to be either dealing with a race car or it's going to be dealing with a farm. One of the two. Yeah. And I'm not going to Google stuff about a race car. So we got a guy that helps with the race car and does the tuning and all that. Me and him's bouncing ideas off, and they're as far-fetched, I promise you, as the farming is. Or if we're dealing with a phosphorus problem or a potassium problem, we've just tried so much stuff. The thing is, I'm not that guy that's just well, maybe I'll try that next year. Oh, no, we fixed to try it right now.
Yeah, right.
I can tell you what.
He's still using the phone. It's just a different
5 gallon of that. Yeah. I'm going to take a picture and show you what burned up.
Well, I can remember the first time me and you got to talking about boron. When I left your farm, I Googled, how much boron is too much boron?
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, I was like,
so when I just said it, by the way,
was it half? Was I double what they said is too much?
Yeah.
Was there a picture of Chad when you did it?
I was like, it should have been a poster child. Hi, I'm Chad Henderson, and I like boron, and I push it to the max.
We went to Farm Progress Show when I started working with these guys in 21. It was like my 3rd month working for these guys, and we went there, and I had been to Chad's farm, so I kind of knew him, and so I was comfortable there. And then we went into one of our companies we worked with. It was the boron company. I heard more boron talk in 20 minutes at the Farm Progress Show between this dude that geeked out like he was the boronest boron dude you've ever heard in your life, and Chad Henderson.
And we was buddies.
I think I left Decatur, Illinois, and did the same thing you did. How much boron is too much?
Too much.
Yeah.
And I'll tell you something else. You talk about having to cipher through things. Google the perfect timing to put nutrients out. And tell me what you get.
Oh, no, ain't no way.
Well, you'll get
rabbit
100
hole. It's a
different
You'll
answers.
go.
Yeah.
You don't do that before bed because I'm telling you, you'll be up for a couple hours, writing notes on. Oh, okay. Well, this person said do it this way, or this person said do it this way, and you're just like,
And you
man,
might not find the answer, but it sure spurs a lot of thought.
it does.
And I don't know that any of the stuff you get on that trail, like none of it is wrong.
No.
Like it's not, like you said, it's not like, oh, that's just wrong.
not a black and
No, it's not a black and white world. That's like, that has about, that's
Speaking
valid.
of wrong and black and white, and I'm going to bring up a person's name that obviously creates a great deal of controversy at this point, Elon Musk. But I read an article that he was interviewed in about, say, 1 year ago. And I read it twice because I'm like, there's some real truth right here. He said, because he owns X, and he said, was criticizing media as we know it.
Mhm.
He said, the media is, these folks that print this or type it or broadcast it or air it, whatever they do, said, we give them more trust than they should have ever had. He said, just think about one thing that you are expert in, and then read any publication or watch any broadcast about that thing. And you'll probably see 5 things that are inaccurate. He said, and you know that because you are an expert, in your case, farming.
Yep.
Now, imagine you're reading the article and it's about Wall Street derivatives. You're not an expert at all, but the person that is giving you that information probably has 5 things wrong there. And so there's some real truth to that about how many, whether it's whatever we look up here, you're like, wait a minute. Of all things, you will not tell me about this because I am an expert in this. That means that everything that we get, no matter where it's from, there's probably 5.
That means that they're not an expert in anything.
That's right.
Exactly.
Cool.
That's exactly
Man,
right.
and he wants to get on your man, and he wants to get on your man.
Jack of all trades, master of none.
That's the meaning.
That's why I love X, because of it's not perfect and there's problems on there, but he makes an effort to make it genuine and authentic.
Like it or not.
Yes.
Like it or not.
Like it or not. And he wants it to be open and he wants it to be honest. And I really like the way that he runs his experiments.
Yeah.
When my nitrogen trial, Evans is like, are you okay if we put a 0 out there to see what's going to happen? It's probably going to fail. And I'm like, absolutely, I'm okay with it. The reason when Elon does something, and I read this in his book, he's like, if you don't go too far and screw it up, you haven't found the limit.
My man.
Yes. Exactly.
Y'all have a lot in common.
So I had never thought about it from that perspective until I read that in one of his books. And so I'm like, yes, put a 0 out there. We know it's going to fail, but we're going to find the limit. I love that. And that is how we run trials. I just had not thought about it said like that before.
Well, the other part
The thing is, we don't have time. No. Like time, we talk about, a farmer in their prime is 40 crops, probably 30, but 40 crops in their prime.
Mm-hmm.
I ain't got time to fool with a paint. Yeah. I ain't got, you're wasting my time. Like, let's just go to the other side, both ways.
Chase, you guys, 40 years is not enough time to mess with arguing over a pint.
No, it's not because I need to make money, 39 of them.
Yeah.
And I'm going to mess one thing up every year, and you take all the nutrients in the periodic table, and I'm going to get them all. In 40 years, I'm going to get them all. I'm going to tell you which one is wrong in 40 years.
How did uranium work?
How did it work?
But
do not put it in.
But the boron, he'll never not overdo that.
Yeah. Well, think about how many professions out there are like ours, where you only get 40 tries. Think about that. You get 40 times.
Come on, Chase. You're sucking up to the farmers here.
Think about it. You only get 40.
Tell them how hard they work. They like to hear that also.
Well, you take the airplane and car. If that guy only had 40,
50.
if he had 40 times to try to perfect that.
What about the light bulb? How many times? What'd he say? I can only tell you how to make it once, but I can tell you 990 something ways not to make it.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. I mean, look at that. If he had 40 times, we wouldn't have a light bulb.
Yeah.
Well, maybe they had more attempts, but they also only had the same amount of years.
Yeah.
Yeah. But
That's right.
Point is, but you get only one crop.
Yeah.
Well, about that thing about on the information, Musk's point that if we give too much credit to whether it's CNN or the Wall Street Journal or any of the sources that you might look at, then you realize that the one thing I know I'm an expert in, and they have at least 5 things that were wrong in the way they delivered that story. Then if you look at everything, we should be very choosy about where we get our information. The good thing about ag, to me, and what like we do at XtremeAg is, we put out this stuff and say, here's what I did and here's what I know. And if someone said, I mean, what are you next? I said, I'm an expert journalist in ag. Well, you've been on media. I said, sure I have. And I tell what I know and what I don't know, because I'm not going to ever, be that person that says, it's like, hey, you were wrong about 6 things over there.
Yeah.
Just want to leave that silent right there for a second.
No, I mean,
I could be wrong.
Exactly.
Be wrong.
That's a great thought.
There's a chance.
There's a chance I could be wrong.
Yeah.
What is the thing you've looked up in the last 2 days? Now, I gave you enough time to think about it. Something you looked up in the last 2 days.
I looked up restaurants in Indiana.
That's not like going to change your career. I think.
No,
Chase.
No, it's not.
If you didn't eat it, Mike.
Yeah.
See, there you go.
Yeah. No. So we've had some issues with a couple guys getting started on some things in the tank, on their tank mixes, and we have a product that fixes that. But I was Googling the products they were putting in the tank to find out the actives in it on that side.
We'll do a thing since we talk about generational stuff here about media consumption and where you get your information. Do you know what the Dewey Decimal System is?
I don't.
Okay. Do you know? do you?
It's at the library. It's how they categorize
index cards.
Index.
You know what an index card is?
I do know what an index card is.
So in the old days, you'd go into the library and say, I need to learn something about how to plant soybeans. Yeah. So you would go by starting over to the card catalog. You know what that is either, right?
I do know. I actually do know what that is. Okay. We had one up until when I worked retail, ag retail. We had one of those up until my last year in the retail side.
So you go in there and you go to the S and you look up soybeans, and then it tell you that there's a book and it was at 2318.6, and that's where you walked around the library on the book number 23. Now you say how to plant soybeans.
Yeah.
That device is really hard on an encyclopedia salesman.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. When's the last time you seen one in? When is the last time?
You know what an encyclopedia?
I do know what an encyclopedia is. All right. Yeah.
Have you used one?
It's been a long time.
Yep.
20 years.
Yeah.
20 years.
I ain't used one of them things. I mean, you can tell. Like, I mean, it's obvious. I mean, you ain't used one. I can say that. I mean, I know you.
Like a lot of people younger were using YouTube as a tutorial. And I'm like, no, I just somehow I had it in my head that wasn't the way to do it. I had to fix something 5 years ago. And I thought, everybody always says just go on YouTube. I did that. And same thing. Yeah, there's 40 videos. First one, I'm like, not helpful. Okay, not applicable. Third one I found, like, this is exactly.
Yeah.
This is exactly what
you know what the last thing I went on YouTube to do? Tie-tie.
Tie-tie.
Tie-tie. It's awesome. Tie-tie. Hey,
you don't know how to tie-tie?
No, I don't know. I just have to Google it every time. I don't tie-tie about 3 times a year,
He just sets his phone up on the sink and he's like,
before, before I did. It took me about 3 or 4 times, but before I would just leave it done and pull it over my head. Yeah. Well, then that created a bad wrinkle in it, so now I undo them and they're real nice,
I like that you care about how you look.
I mean,
the mechanics.
Take a lesson from that.
The mechanics in my shop YouTube things a lot.
Yeah.
When it's a new problem that they haven't gotten before, or a different truck, different motor, wonderful source of information. And that's your new encyclopedia.
And I wouldn't say that it's about being, like, oh, I'm not going to Google that because I can figure this out. No, it's time. Like, you're saving me time,
Yeah.
I mean, I'm going to skip 3 steps and learn.
You remember this thing?
That's why we do XtremeAg, right? I mean,
we started hearing in the common vernacular, fact checkers or false, fake news or whatever. Now it makes you wonder, we had the World Book Encyclopedia. It was 9 years old when I was born. So by the time I was using it, it was 15 to 20 years old.
Yes.
You're like, who wrote the encyclopedia?
Exactly.
I never thought that anything in the encyclopedia could be wrong.
No, I thought it's gone. No, it's gone.
I mean, the encyclopedia says it was the number one source used. If they said write it. Okay, in the old days, you would write term papers. Now, that's another thing.
So, you asked if I use encyclopedia. I did, but I think it was for a grade. I think it was like, you have to do this way.
But your point is, now you wonder, well, who the hell created the World Book? Why should I think that
I have never till today thought
encyclopedia
that it could have been wrong. Yep. Encyclopedia could be wrong.
And
that's
maybe,
blasphemy. Right there.
Maybe it wasn't wrong, but when it's 15, 20 years old, how is your farming? Which technically isn't wrong, but we've learned more.
Now you're supposed to get an update, but the World Book, I think our dog bit the guy that sold them, so he never came around and filled the update. Every year they were supposed to bring you an update, and we never had that. So all my information is from 1960 in my growing up. So. I was born in 69. Can you imagine being that old?
No.
But we just did you
see the pause? He was like,
How is that?
You start counting your surgeries.
oh man.
I think I've had 8 now. Yeah. Going around the table then, what's good about the information, the amount we have now, and then what's the problem with the amount of information we have right now?
The amount of information we have
Is overwhelming.
Is overwhelming, and you have to figure out, what works on your farm. What if the guys telling you what'll work on your farm, and then you have to decipher through, if a guy's just on there to get views, to make money, or whatever they're doing now on there, or if he's being genuine and honest about what he's talking about.
Yeah, and the thing is, we think that now. They're like, oh, this person's putting out this ag stuff only because they got a sponsor paying them, and they're just trying to get views because that's what the sponsor wants. But we have a skepticism, a BS meter about that now, Chase.
Yeah.
But we never had the BS meter about the World Book. We never once thought that Encyclopedia Britannica might be wrong.
You never had the BS meter back then.
And we should have.
Right.
What's good and bad about the information and way it pertains to agriculture and how you either deliver it or receive it?
What is good is that it's at your fingertips, and where you can go right to the source. You're not hearing it from somebody that might have 5 things wrong in their delivery. That's great. What's bad is not everybody is genuine and authentic. However, is that bad? Or I don't know that that's changed, because we just talked about, the World Book might have been wrong. Mm-hmm. Walter Cronkite might have been wrong. Things like that in that delivery. So I don't know that that's changed. And so I would say that I think I can make the argument that it's all of it's been an improvement. We now have the BS meter. We now know there's corruption. We now know that everybody isn't honest and things like that, where we used to think that they were. It like you talked about before, it's not a Norman Rockwell painting, and we used to think it was.
Mm. Good, bad?
Good is there's a lot of information.
Yep.
And I mean, I like the way you have to be open-minded, and I like to see the best in people. And I like to think that most people are on there for the right reasons and are trying to promote whatever they're talking about, and trying to educate people about what they're talking about. Because nowadays there's so much more education, and I think that's the good of it. Now, like I said, I'm the guy that's like cups half full, like this is good. And the bad thing is to see a person that's maybe prideful enough that won't use the information that's at their hand. That's like, oh, that's not right. That's no way. The way I do it, is better. Like, there can always be improvement.
Yeah.
There can be improvement in how this glass, but there can always be improvement. So to say that it's at the end, or this is just it, like that's just, I have a real problem at the shop saying, well, we just can't do that. No, let's just don't say we can't. Let's just say we ain't done it yet. Let's just say we may not ever figure it out, but I refuse to think that we can't.
That's right.
And that's just, I don't know. And I may be off topic from what you're talking about, what the conversation is, but
I think that you're right on. And if I ask myself the question, what's the good and the bad? I used the word democratized. 50 years ago, we would have had to buy CBS. Now, because of online and so many platforms, we can be the media, or we can be the expert, or we can be at least a choice for someone to go to. My ag commentary videos I put out there about the effect of, tariffs on globalization and whatever, I wouldn't have been able to do that 30, 40, 50 years ago, right? That's the good. The bad, that there's a lot of misinformation. When you have someone that you think, good God, did you just tell me that you learned this from Khloe Kardashian? Please don't tell me that's where you get your information from. You get your information from a TikTok video that Khloe Kardashian.
What if we get labeled like that? It's like, God, please tell me you didn't get that from.
Is it not crazy to y'all though, like, that we can reach, 40, 50,000 people with one post?
Yeah, it's amazing.
I'd have never thought a small town guy from Arkansas could make a post about farming or whatever the case may be.
That's what I'm saying.
It's 40, 50,000
It's democratized. It's made it. In the old days, you would have had to own you didn't have to own a TV station.
Yeah.
Think about that.
Yeah.
So anyway, that's the good. I think that's the bad. And like I said, there's the people that are getting information with Khloe Kardashian. But you know what? I feel like we addressed information. We talked about where you get your information, where you get your agricultural information. One thing we want you to do is dial in right here to the Granary, because we're a source of information at XtremeAg. We were joined in this episode by our friend Chase Garner, Arkansas guy, SprayTec rep. If you want to learn more about the lineup of products they can help you farm better with, go to
www.spraytec.com.
And there's no H. Look at that sign back. There's no H on the end of SprayTec, just SprayTec.com. You didn't come about spelling though, right?
Mm-mm.
You know, your guy, Matt Miles, always is arguing with me about how the proper spelling of Granary is. He still thinks it has an I in it and an ERY. It doesn't.
I thought it too.
Well, you see, now I've had to...
Must be an Arkansas thing.
Yeah, maybe. I don't know. Anyway, we'll work on phonics down there. And speaking of phonics, you know what? We're really glad you're here, because if nothing else, you just learned that Chad, along with me and Kelly, are almost now so rattled we're going to have to go and give ourselves a stiff drink, because we just thought, what if the World Book was wrong? Anyway, thanks for being here. Share this episode with someone that'll enjoy it just as much as you do. Go to check out all of our stuff at our YouTube channel. Be sure to subscribe and go to YouTube and type in XtremeAg, and also check out our friends at SprayTec. Till next time, cheers from the green.